You know, from that standpoint, when you start representing her and you sit down and you talk with her, was there some sort of connection between you and she that said, listen, you got to do your best to defend this person because she's unable to defend herself. Apparently, she unaware of what she had done, and something within you said, you know, I'm going to give this case all I've got because now you're up close with her. You had a chance to talk with her. You watched her mental state. Was there something within you just said, man, I just got to really do my best work if possible on this case?
Well, that's an interesting point. You know, I mentioned to you that she had no one else, and she was so fragile, and she needed a protector. And her husband had said, well, you know, I think she trusts you. You look like a grandfather to her, and I just the closer you get and the more you understand about her, every person that we ever talked to, every neighbor, every relative, always described Andrea as the most loving of mothers, just a wonderful parent. And it was just a matter of, you know, she was so sick. In '03, she, pardon me, in '04, she, right around the fourth year after she had lost her children to mental illness, she became very extremely depressed and stopped eating, and basically they told me, went up to see her, and I said, "What are you trying to do here, Andrea? What are you up to? You know?" And she kind of she had lost 40 pounds, and she was still very thin anyhow. And so she kind of smirked a little bit, and she knew that I knew that she was trying to leave this earth. 2 days later, they rushed her down to UTMB in Galveston, and she's on a cot on a mattress on the floor, and she's got IVs, and she's going through a psychotic episode, thinking that her kids were still alive, and you know, you just she needed a protector, and I was there for her.
That's good. You know, one of the things, I'm sorry, one of the things that I think that people need to understand, and this is why I'm glad we broached this subject concerning mental health, because who can understand the mind of a person? And then at any point in time, something mentally can happen to us. Something will set us off like that, and we would not be responsible for our actions. And so I'm thankful that we got this subject out. It needs to be something talked about, because too often we don't talk about it, and we don't understand it from a lawyer standpoint, because we see somebody commit a crime and we say, boy, they're guilty. Which way can they go with that? So that's what I was concerned about. Okay, host.
No. I'm sitting here. I'm just listening. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm just loving the compassion that you have. I'm just as a lawyer. Yes. I'm just loving the compassion, and I've got to believe that extends far from you being a lawyer. I think that is your everyday. It has to be your everyday persona. But one of the questions with the limelight being on mental health now, there were some articles in the paper, one on Sunday and one on yesterday. I don't have the one from yesterday, but I do. I remember reading the one from Sunday, and it's about the inmates that they're letting out. You know, because we approached that subject earlier in one of our earlier shows, where we have so many inmates that they're turning out that are mentally ill.
Right.
And what you do is you medicate them and you put them out there on the streets.
Right.
There's got to be something that we're going to have to do about that, because
right.
that's going to be a big issue. We're going to have a lot of mentally ill people out there on the streets with nowhere to go. What are your thoughts on that?
Any given day, 20 to 25%, 30% of inmates in the Harris County Jail suffer some type of mental illness. And this is well documented. And back a couple of years ago, Sheriff Garcia asked me to put together a group, a task force to address the issue of overpopulation and also the issue of the mentally ill behind bars. And I set about getting folks from the medical center to become a part of this task force and see if we could come up with some solutions. Law enforcement, District Attorney's Office, Houston Police Department, doctors from the medical center, and we meet every month, and we are making progress. But it really boils down to the importance of this issue in the eyes of the legislature. There are severe cuts in financing, and to give you an example, in the years of 12 and 13, we will have eliminated 183 much-needed beds in our mental health hospitals because the financing is not available. And what happens is that these poor folks are turned out on the street, given a handful of pills, given a address to go to. They don't keep their appointments, and until something tragic happens, then something, people pick up the mantle and walk with it. There are a couple of things that I would like to address briefly, and perhaps I'm anticipating a question or two. But back in '02. We were shopping around an idea with some nonprofit organizations to develop a program whereby women who suffer from postpartum would have someone or an area to address. And we established the H Children's Memorial Foundation or Fund with the Mental Health Association of Houston. And to this day, we have, last year we screened over 50,000 new mothers.
Wow.
We have set up a training staff that go out and work with women in crisis, and we'll screen. We're going to pediatricians' offices now, and we've got documentation, brochures and toolkits. We figured that the mother that can't afford to have a checkup after delivery with the OBGYN will certainly be able to make sure that baby comes first.
Yes.
So if the pediatrician can screen the mother, then we can avoid the tragedies of Andrea Yates.
That's right.
And the other thing that I wanted to mention is the Houston Police Department. Lieutenant Mike Lee and his staff have developed the CIT team, and we're meeting next week, hopefully with the District Attorney's Office to see if we can get some additional funds to double the task that address. And these officers go out and they're trained, and they try to diffuse situations that in the past would have the SWAT team would have diffused the situation.
Exactly.
It's not all perfect, but it's HPD is doing a great deal of good work in that area.
Well, we want to thank you, Mr. Farnham, for being with us today. This has been really a good show. You've shedded some light on Andrea. We're happy to know that she's doing well.
Praise God.
That talking to her is just like talking to us. We're happy
That's
to know
right.
that.
Yeah.
We're happy to know that. In light of all that has been in her past, you've shed a lot of light on her story, and we probably want to always remember her story, because that story can always help someone. Can help someone else. You have really helped us, helped us today. With like I said, with the spotlight being on mental health, anything that we can do to help someone out there, we want to do that. If any of you out there in the audience would like to know more about the show, or have some insights on mental health, you can always call 713-731-7050, to get information about the show, because we want to keep this going. We're planning a big rally,
Yes.
At our activity center on mental health. We have some more exciting guests coming up. Judge Ed Emmett is going to be on our show.
Oh, good.
It's going to be on our show. So we want to continue the fight. We want to do it because it is there, it's out there, and we want to do what we can, however small, to let people know, get some help. You can get
Right.
some help. There's help out there for you. NAMI is one of the ones that do a lot of free stuff that can
Right.
help you. So there's a lot of help out there. So we want to continue on doing what we can to enlighten our audience out there on mental health, because it affects all of our families. It affects all of
You
our
bet.
families, and how we and how we're going to break the how are we going to break the silence, Robin?
We're gonna take the key. We're gonna unlock the door, and we'll open up a pathway to come in. The key is the thing that unlocks the door. Then it breaks the silence. And we're gonna stand. We're gonna speak out, not just in the African American community, in the whole entire Harris County. We stand with a key that's gonna unlock that door and break that silence.
Okay. So we thank you for being here with us, Mr. Farnham.
My pleasure.
You have truly blessed us on today. Thank you, Pastor Nash, for allowing us to have this show. Thank you, Robin, for